Spurs and Suns. San Antonio's Luka Semenic making a slick behind-the-back move, gets past the D for the easy finger roll.
Jenna, did you say San Antonio's?
Yeah, why?
If San Antonio just finds another guy from Europe that no one's ever heard of that comes in and can just give him 14 points a night, I'm just going to be so sick. They create these guys in labs.
Luka Doncic, man, he had such a rookie year, man. He got people named after him already.
Luka Semenic.
I mean, Luka, like, hey, what up with that?
Knicks and Lakers. Rough summer league for R.J. Barrett, but he's got the nice spin and slam down there. Two-handed slam for R.J.
Let's not do
What?
Nothing. Y'all are...
Oh, Trae Young, he struggled last year in the summer league.
A lot of guys struggle in
Make them excuses for him, Nick.
I'm not making excuses.
That's what they are. RJ's going to be a good player.
Yes, exactly.
Struggling in the summer league.
That happens, man. It ain't Duke no more. It happens. He'll be fine. You're going to get a lot of shots for those Knicks this year. I'll tell you that much.
All right, let's talk some football now. Last season, Todd Gurley ran for 1,200 yards, scored 17 touchdowns on the ground. What fans remember, however, was his performance in the NFC title game and the Super Bowl, where he had a combined 45 yards on just 14 attempts and zero explanation why. Well, Gurley says he's got nothing to prove this season. See, are you buying Todd Gurley will return to form this coming year?
Well, I'm not going to talk about is he going to return to form. I'm going to be more concerned about the comments for which he said. I don't know an elite person in any field that says, you know something, I got nothing to prove. The best in any field, they wake up every day with nothing to prove. When I go on TV 5 days with something to prove. Like every day I'm on TV, I'm trying to prove something. Todd Gurley, I don't even know why he even said that. Like, is he trying to protect himself just in case he doesn't have success? Because all the other players, Tom Brady, he is the best example. He's sending out videos. Man, I got something to prove. He's got something to prove every year, and that's why he's been able to have the long career that he's had. Dennis Green taught me something, and I didn't know this, because typically we're always evaluating other players. He told me once before in our end of the season meeting, Chris, do you know I evaluate the team? I was like, yeah, I understand that. He said, do you know I break it down position by position, group by group, offense, defense, and ultimately, Chris, I rate the players on our roster, top to bottom, 1 to 53. And I like to let the players know where they stand on that roster, because ultimately, when I get to the salary cap is going to be a reflection of my ranking of what the team is. So every year, man, I was not going to be out of the top 5 ranked Vikings at the end of the season. And I'm talking about we had some great players, not good ones, not just Pro Bowl players. I played with 7 different Hall of Famers. So when you start breaking down your own team, forget about what your own personal goals are. People are judging you. So let me tell you what the Rams front office, Les Snead, he's evaluating. He got something to prove to him. So you won't hear players in the NFL say what Todd Gurley said, oh, I got nothing to prove. Guys who don't have nothing to prove, in a couple years, you know what they're doing? They're watching the NFL. They're not continuing to play in the NFL. And if he's got an arthritic knee, if he can't rush for 1,300 yards, there's no way Todd Gurley's going to be a backup. He's not going to be a special teams player. Like, this is a year to be able to prove that that contract is worth it, and he can have a long career compared to being a flash in the pan.
Listen, I'm legitimately concerned about his knee, and I think everyone is. I'm not selling my Todd Gurley stock yet, but I'm not buying more of it. I think you have to look at the way he ended last season in the comments from, was it his agent or his trainer? It was his trainer that said he's got an arthritic condition. Like, none of those things,
which in and of itself was weird
odd.
That we were
whole
even
thing,
hearing
all of it's been odd. Watching him limp into his car on that TMZ video was concerning.
Really concerning.
The way they used him in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game was concerning. Like, C.J. Anderson is all of a sudden some premier running back. The fact that they spent a 3rd-round pick, was it, on Malcolm Brown, or I'm sorry, Darrell Henderson. Malcolm Brown was already on the roster. Darrell Henderson, a guy that averaged like 8 yards per touch last year at Memphis. That was concerning. There are a lot of red flags for Gurley. But to Chris's point about the salary cap and your performance, he signed that big deal. But I looked into it this morning. It is, the way that deal works is, it is third day of the league year, big roster bonus. Third day of the league year, big roster bonus. It meaning that if Todd Gurley is not Todd Gurley next year, the Rams, I think, would owe him $7.5 million in a roster bonus on the third day of the league year next year. They wouldn't have to pay that. They could say, you know what? There's a reason we have Darrell Henderson. We like Malcolm Brown, and we'll eat the dead money on the cap. And
we got to pay Jared Goff.
Got to pay 100%. Jared Goff's waiting on a contract. So, like, they paid him early, and they paid him a lot, but they have outs on the deal. And I'm not wishing that upon Todd Gurley. I think when healthy, he's the best all-around back in football. Right. But he has a ton to prove. Because of if last year hadn't ended that way, he still would, to Chris's point. If you want to be an elite performer, I think all of us would try to prove things to people every day, or even if you have to create doubters in your own mind, you try to prove them wrong. But a guy that's coming off a very disappointing and questionable end of the season, he's got more to prove now than any time since he became this level player that we expect him to be.
And Stacey, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not like he has an injury he could heal and come back. He's got an arthritic knee. Arthritis is going to be there. It's something he's going to have to work through. He's not going to have to be fully healed, and then he's back to the Todd Gurley we saw. So we don't expect him to ever get out now and be 100% if he's already dealing with the arthritis.
Todd Gurley already had a questionable knee coming into the league. Obviously, the pounding, typically you have arthritis. That means it's bone on bone. The cartilage is there. I got an arthritic shoulder, but I'm 53 doing TV. I can do that, all right? You don't see running backs, not unless it's someone like Jerome Bettis, someone who's a battering ram, someone going to get about 4.2 yards a carry, someone going to be great in the red zone, doesn't need to avoid people as much. But just imagine Marshall Faulk early in his career having an arthritic knee.
Or Ed James.
That's the difference between having 4 or 5 good years and being a Hall of Famer. So for me, based on the talent, the arthritic knee, it takes away his breakaway speed. It takes away his ability to be an elite receiver out of the backfield. So to me, this is one of the big storylines for the Rams. If they are a Super Bowl favorite, if they're a favorite to be in the NFC Championship game and to represent in the Super Bowl, Todd Gurley's got to be the Todd Gurley that we saw early last season and the previous season.
And that's because so much of their offense, the reason they can go 11 personnel after 11 personnel, they're in the same formation more than any team in football, is because so much of what they do pre-snap and post-snap with the play action is based on the threat of Todd Gurley. But just real quick, tell me if you agree with me on this, and I don't want to read too much into these 3 words, nothing to prove, but that strikes me as a bit of denial. Like a bit of, no, everybody knows who I am in this league. Almost a little bit, I'm Kevin Durant. Well, okay, but Kevin Durant is in one place, 10 years into the league, winning MVP, multiple championships. Todd Gurley, coming off, that was before KD got injured, coming off an injury, trying to still establish himself is he going to be a story of a player that you remember him, oh, Todd Gurley, man, he was unbelievable for a few years, or a Marshall Faulk. That's what he's got left to prove, and there's a decade to do that.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, he said that, and we had forgot who he was. But immediately, Kevin Durant
reminded us.
He reminded us.
Came back out, scored like 40-something the very next game.
He reminded us. Todd Gurley, remind me, man.
Yeah.
I played in the league a long time. My memory ain't what it used to be. Remind me of the Todd Gurley that used to be.
Take a break. Coming up, hey, who's the best team in the NBA? This guy makes the list. Next on First Things First.
I'm making a list?
You guys slid this one in on.
Yeah, Nick makes a list.